Good morning, everyone. I'm Sean Hennessy, Assistant Commissioner for the New York State DOT. I want to thank you all for joining us here for this summer event. The monument that you see behind me was dedicated last year by our Commissioner Wreath and Governor Kathy Hochul. It really does, it represents all of those men and women that were lost in the line of duty here at the New York State DOT, throughway, private industry, and at smaller towns and villages across this great state. I wanted to recognize a few people, if you wouldn't mind, before we get our event started today. We have folks with us in orange shirts that were with our health and safety team across the New York State DOT. And those folks are the men and women that are the unsung heroes of our DOT forces out there in the workforce, on the roads. And we want to thank a few people that are with us today that are really a guiding force for that team. Grace Voss, who is with us, who is the Assistant Commissioner for Administrative Services with the New York State DOT. She is here with us today. Cody Baker and Matt Petrie, the two individuals that were leads for this event today, and they did a wonderful job. I want to thank them very much for all their efforts in putting this wonderful event today together. Also want to thank our bagpiper, Jeremy Button from Region 4 New York State DOT for playing for us today. We also are lucky enough to have with us Tracy DiGerno, who is Governor Hochul's Central New York representative. Our first speaker today is Brian Gibney. Brian is the Director of Employee Safety for the New York State DOT. I was hoping Brian would say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you, Sean. My Dennis Kowalski from my staff has reminded me that we do not have to worry about mosquitoes this morning. So I do thank you all for coming here for Work is Memorial. Work is Memorial is celebrated worldwide on April 28th. It's celebrated to remember those who lost their lives and work and to dedicate ourselves to making improvements in workplace safety to make the workplace safer for them. At DOT, we have lost 56 employees, many of those from work zone intrusions. A work zone intrusion is where a vehicle operated by an inattentive driver who's typically driving too fast enters into a department work zone, and that has taken the life of 56, most of those 56 of our employees. I've been with the DOT a long time, and I've learned a little bit about what that means when you lose an employee. I know that, an employee's locker becomes a memorial in the residency. I've seen the spaces on bulletin boards be set aside where they post announcements of graduations and marriages of the children of employees that are no longer with us and died of work. So I know all those things that happen. I've been out with our crews and riding around, and when they pass the location of where there's been a bad work zone intrusion, the crews will either stop talking or they'll make some reference to it. So they carry those work zone intrusions with them for a long time. I've had an employee who's been involved in a work zone intrusion where they lost a coworker come up to me many years later and ask me about first aid and CPR because they were concerned that they didn't do everything correctly and maybe they could have made a difference. But the truth is, in a work zone intrusion, a vehicle comes into the work zone, the forces that are involved in that collision are extreme, and the consequences are unforgivable. And there's really very little that can be done. One of the things that has impressed me is that I've learned how resilient that the DOT workers are and how resilient the department is. That we go out the next day and we do the work. Highway maintenance worker staff go out the next day and we do the work again. And the department, I'm very proud to report, has really dedicated itself to making improvements we set up the work zones, improvements in the equipment and protection from traffic that we provide out in our work zone. And we've done public outreach to the drivers closely with the state police. So we have taken tremendous strides forward. And I am grateful to that and to my team to be a part of it. So I will leave the details of that to the other presenters. Thank you, Sean, and everyone for this talk. Thank you very much.
We are blessed today to have with us a number of members of the New York State Troopers. We work hand in glove with the New York State Troopers across this great state. And, there's a few people I wanted to recognize, if I may, from that team. One is the Sergeant, Eric Knapp, who's with us today. He manages the TIMS team, which will manage the Operation Hard Hat events that we have. But just in day-to-day operations, you'll see the troopers out there in the workforce with us. And nothing makes our folks feel more safe than having our troopers out there with us. So I want to thank Sergeant Eric Knapp for being with us today. I also want to recognize Amber Stevens, who is the Regional Emergency Manager for the New York State DOT here in Region 3. She's with us as well. She works very closely with the TIMS team, making sure that our folks are taken care of right out there in the workforce. So if I could, without the support of our Major, Mike Tanaik, we really wouldn't have the force that we have today and have the safety that we have in the workforce today. So I want to thank you very much for joining us and taking the time with us today. And if I could have Major Mike Tanaik say a few words. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I was just looking at the memorial. It's very respectful. You did a very nice job with it. We are honored to be here today to remember those DOT workers who have lost their lives while serving the public. To the families, friends, and colleagues of those who have lost their lives, we offer our prayers and condolences. Highways are one of the most dangerous work environments out there, especially for those who repair our roads. These men and women often work unprotected, making the necessary repairs to keep the highways safe from everyone who uses them. Despite our continuing efforts, we still handle hundreds of work zone crashes each year, and our troopers know all too well about the tragedies. speed limits and other safety measures are there for a reason. They protect the motoring public and make our highways workers safer, and we just basically want them to get home to their families at night. Our message is simple. The choices you make behind the wheel can have serious, even deadly consequences, so make the right choice. Speeding and distracted driving are the main causes of motor vehicle accidents, and both become even more dangerous when you enter the work zone, or you may be also dealing with a changing traffic pattern. It's worth repeating. Stay alert, obey posted speed limits, keep your eyes on the road. Basically, when you see someone on the shoulder of the road working, just slow down, please. I'll end with the state police work shoulder to shoulder with our friends here at DOT and all the other thruway authorities. We will remain vigilant in promoting and enforcing highway safety. We will honor the memories of those who have been lost by working to prevent another tragedy. Thank you.
Our Commissioner Maurice Dominguez and the Chief of Staff Jan McLaughlin have worked tirelessly over the years to build a very strong bond with our members of organized labor across the state. And we have a large contingent with them with us today, so I'm going to break this up into two different groups. But I'd like to recognize, if I could, Shangelis DeMarco from Region 5. She's the Executive Vice President. She's with us today. Diane Burton, CSEA Local 13 President, who represents members right here at the Great New York State Fair. Tommy Hinger from Region 5, OSH Committee Chair, is here with us. And Josh Kemp, also from Region 5, on OSH Specialist. I also would be remiss if I didn't mention we have executive level management here from the DOT. We have Ken Bibbins, who is the Regional 7 Regional Director. We also have Dave Smith, who represents this great area here in Central New York. He's the Regional Director, so I want to thank them both for joining us today. I'd like to now introduce Jim Constantine, who is the Director of Maintenance at the New York State Thruway. Jim, if you would say a few words, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Jim Constantine. I'm the Thruway's Director of Maintenance and Operations. I've been with the authority for 35 years. I've worked across the state. And certainly this is a message that we will never, ever tire of putting out there. I'd certainly like to recognize all those with us today. Certainly Assemblyman Magnarelli, thank you. Department of Transportation, New York State Police, representatives here with me from the Thruway, other distinguished guests. Though we all may have different logos on our hard hats, we all come here for the same reason: to remember and pay our respects for our sisters and brothers who gave their lives in the name of safety and protection of our motorists, simply by doing their jobs. Today and every day, we are reminded of the dangers our workers face. This memorial is also a reminder that our forces literally put their lives in danger, making sure roads are safe for the traveling public. Sadly, 5 members of our family have lost their lives while on the job since the year 2000. In 2016, we lost a colleague in the Thruway Syracuse Division who was working on the shoulder of the road. Ron Deming was a construction equipment operator of the Herkimer Maintenance Section, a member of the Thruway family. He was assisting a local tow company and stranded motorists when a vehicle failed to move over and fatally injured him in the line of duty, again, simply by doing his job. We'll never forget Ron and all the workers who were honored by this memorial. These tragic losses leave an unimaginable impact on family, co-workers, and communities. Day in and day out, our maintenance forces and emergency responders work mere feet away from high-speed traffic, improving the road and making it safer for everyone. Essentially, that is their office. During the COVID pandemic, while many people were working remotely from home, our crews remained at work and continued their essential duties and responsibilities. Their hard work and dedication never wavered. They deserve the same right as you and I and everyone, that they want to go home safe at the end of their shifts. The men and women working on the side of the road are parents, children, brothers, sisters, family, and friends. They are your neighbors. The message is simple: don't risk your life, the lives of others around you, the lives of the hardworking and dedicated individuals who are serving this state, and focus on safety. Let's help everyone go home to their loved ones at the end of the day. Slow down, move over if safe, be alert, and put the phones down to prevent another senseless tragedy from happening again. again, thank you so much for having me here today.
We have additional members of CSEA with us today. We have John Schick, who's the Regional PAC Coordinator, is with us. Rob Riley, who's the Region 5 Director of CSEA. Gary Druce, who's the Syracuse, New York State DOT President, Local 528. Lloyd Trumbull, who's the CSEA President for Local 516, is with us. Rob Bryant, who's the Onondaga County Local 834 President, well represented from CSEA. I want to thank them all for coming. A tireless advocate for our staff here at DOT is our next speaker. He travels this state religiously. He is a nonstop energy, positive energy for all of our workforce here. So I'd like to welcome to the podium the statewide Assistant Commissioner for Operations, our very own Sam Zhao.
Thank you, Sean. Good morning, everyone. I'm Sam Zhao, Assistant Commissioner of Operation, New York State Department of Transportation. On behalf of Commissioner Dominguez, I would like to welcome everyone here to this very special event, commemorating Workers' Memorial Day in the state of New York. Today, we pay tribute to the many transportation workers who lost their lives while doing their necessary yet dangerous work to keep our roads and bridges open and let the rest of us get where we need to go safely. This event is all about fallen heroes, and it couldn't be more suitable than this place. I still remember the moment last year when Governor Hochul and Commissioner Dominguez unveiled this monument. It honors very special people who made the ultimate sacrifice in order to make New York State a better place. It is a powerful testament that the work they did and also the enormous loss suffered by families, friends, and colleagues. It is a place of solemn reverence, but also a place for education and awareness. I hope this serves as a reminder to all New Yorkers of the real danger faced by our highway workers. At DOT, highway workers and contractors are the cornerstones of everything we do. And I do want to acknowledge that today we have AGC with us. They are part of our families. Chris Stefan, representing AGC, also attending this solemn event. Highway workers and contractors are part of the DOT family, and there's nothing more important than us to keep our family members safe. Their safety also hinges on you as a driver, being patient and pay attention. All travelers should be prepared to reduce speed and be alert when passing through a work zone. Yet, too often, this does not happen. During 2021, there were 378 work zone intrusions in New York State highways, and more than 50 of them causes injuries either to our highway workers or the drivers themselves. Last April, 2 DOT employees were hospitalized following a vehicle collision in New York State Northway in Capital Region. One is so critically injured, he is still recovering at home. On the very same day, just a few miles from this crash site, another vehicle crashed through a different work zone, sending 3 DOT contractors to the emergency room. Sometimes the outcome are even more tragic, like the Brian Gibney just mentioned. 56 members of DOT family members died on the job across the state. And it was just 3 years ago, Matt Howe, a beloved highway maintenance worker in the Southern Tier region, was killed in the work zone by a distracted tractor-trailer driver who failed to comply with the New York State move-over law and plowed his truck into Matt's pickup. At DOT, we still mourn Matt's loss. We recently named one snowplow in each region house plow to honor his legacy and to remind drivers the need to be alert and give our workers the space to work. And as you can see, the plow truck in front of us have that sign on the door of the snowplow truck. The state of New York continued to make strides to enhance work zone safety. Under legislation signed by Governor Hochul last September, a pilot program will soon get underway for automated speed enforcement in work zone in New York State. These work zone cameras will be utilized to monitor and capture work zone violations. So if you are speeding in the work zone, the ticket will be in the mail. And that's not all. We continue to work with our New York State Police and our law enforcement partners for Operation Hard Hat. Under Operation Hard Hat, police officers are inside the work zone, dress up as highway workers to spot and check and ticket motorists who speeding, who drive recklessly, or not obeying move over. In July, just 2021, a total of nearly 2,400 tickets were issued during Operation Hard Hat, breaking the previous record of just over 2,000 tickets in 2020. That is not a record we want to be proud of. Operation Hard Hat will once again taking place this year, and this will be the 4th year in a row. And I can't be more grateful to our partners at New York State Police Department and the local law enforcement for their time and effort. As we head into the warmer weather and construction season, you will see more and more work crews making repairs to our roads and bridges. So let this day and this memorial serve as a reminder to all New Yorkers of the real danger they face by highway workers and the need for all of us be part of the effort to keep them safe. Today, I have a simple message to all drivers. When you see a work zone, when you see a flagger, when you see those work ahead signs, please slow down, move over, merge early, pay attention, and put your phone down while you drive. Give our highway workers the courtesy and respect they deserve. Our workers are out there making making New York State roads and bridges safer and smoother. I will say this again. Let us do our part, make their job, let them do their job, and get home safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Sam. Sam had mentioned, but I just wanted to touch on it briefly. We have this Chris DiStefano, who is the Region 1 Director for the New York State Association of General Contractors. You know, when you're out in the workforce, you see the yellow jacket, you think that's a state employee. That could very well be just a general contractor that works directly for us. So I want to thank Chris and his team at AGC for the communal work that we do together. It's a great relationship that we do have. Our next speaker is a tireless advocate for us here at the DOT, whether it be safety or funding. He is an extraordinary representative based out of here in Central New York. He is the representative from the 129th Assembly District and also the chairman for the Transportation Committee at the New York State Assembly. Please welcome our dear friend Bill Magarelli.
Thank you. I want to thank the Department of Transportation for inviting me to speak this morning on this very important day. We honor the thousands of workers who go to work every day to keep our transportation infrastructure safe and functioning, allowing our economy and daily lives to function. And as one who uses the thruway and our state roads constantly, I was just talking to my chief of staff on the way over here saying, I'm in the car an awful long time every day. And so I appreciate every single thing all these people behind me do, whether they're working on the roads, whether they're protecting us as our state troopers do. This is hard work in all kinds of weather. Sometimes I just don't understand how they can do it. As chair of the Assembly Transportation Committee, I also want to honor those who have been injured and lost their lives in service of New York State in our work zones. It is a privilege to have this memorial here at the New York State Fairgrounds in the 129th Assembly District. Work zone safety continues to be a priority for me as chair of the Transportation Committee. As was stated just with the speaker before me, last year I was proud to sponsor and get passed into law legislation to create a pilot program for the use of speed cameras in work zones. I look forward to their implementation to keep our workers safe. And I don't understand people who say, oh, you're taking pictures of me and you're giving me tickets. All I say is, slow down. Slow down. There is no excuse for speeding and reckless driving in work zones. Our workers deserve a safe working environment and to go home to their families at the end of their shift. I will continue to work with my colleagues in Albany on further policy changes to ensure this. Again, I want to thank our highway workers for their hard work and dedication to the citizens of New York, and to remember those who have given their lives in the service of this state. Thank you so much.
We will close out our ceremony with the laying of the wreath.